so when you worship, or when you become a part of a worship culture, you're not just looking at it from the standpoint of music. I want y'all to get that. You're not just looking at it from a standpoint of music. Okay, so what is worship? Um, Jesus said to this woman that he met. He was just kind of chilling. He was chilling at a well, and this lady walks up to him, and they get into this big dialogue. And so he says to her that, the day is coming when you don't have to go to a mountain. The day is coming, and it's already here, that you don't have to worship God, face the east and do all this kind of other stuff, but you can worship where you are. And it says, and they that worship him must worship him in the spirit and in truth. Now, we use that particular scripture a lot of time to refute praise, to refute, like, worship is so much higher than praise, or so much more than praise. But that's not actually what that scripture is talking about. What that scripture is talking about is the fact that your physical body does not have to be in a certain place for you to worship God. So my physical body does not have to be in a church setting. My physical body does not have to be in the four walls of a church, or in the four walls of some conference center or something like that, in order for me to worship him. I can worship him right where I am. And a lot of people, and a lot of you out there, you've had times in your life where you are in the shower and the presence of God comes in and he falls in the shower. That's not a church house. You've had times when you're driving and you can feel the presence of God, and you just begin to worship him. You begin to ascribe worth to him. You begin to tell him how much he is worth to you. It's just a recognition of how much God is worth to you. What is God worth to you? Is God worth to you more than your house? Is God worth to you more than your car? Is God worth to you more than physical things or tangible things and stuff like that? So that's what we need to understand. We need to understand the definition of worship before we can even get into the actions of worship. And I think that's the problem. A lot of us skip past the definition of things and we try to go into the actions. But if you don't have context for the actions, then you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Or if you don't have the right definition of word, you're unable to do it. You're unable to perform it. You're unable to function in those things. And I think that's where we go wrong in church services as well. I think that's where we go wrong in music ministries, when we are trying to get through the portion of service that's called praise and worship. And I'm using quotation fingers. Don't judge me. Before we get to that point, or we need to understand, what is the definition of what I do? And that in itself translates in life. What is the definition of me being a parent? What is the definition of me being a husband? What is the definition of me being a wife? What is the definition of me being a friend? A lot of times we walk into situations and we don't have the definition for it. We don't have the definition for it. And then when we fall, or when something happens, we don't know, oh my God, I don't know what went wrong. Well, first of all, you came into it with the wrong mindset. You came into it with the wrong thinking about it. And that is how a lot of times when we enter into the house of worship, the church, we enter into a relationship with God, and we don't have the context of who we are, who he is. So in order for us, before we even get into the musical worship part, we have to have a conversation, a very serious conversation about who we are and who God is. Because a lot of us don't even have a healthy definition of who God is. And if you don't have a healthy definition of who God is, you're not going to have a healthy relationship. Think about it. Think about it, even in your dating, even in your a lot of our relationships, of intimate relationships, have failed. A lot of marriages are breaking up, and girlfriend, boyfriends are breaking up because they did not enter into that particular relationship with a healthy definition. Stephen B. Thomas, listen, don't forget, go to Amazon, get my book. It's called The Worship Guide. Worship and Arts 101 by the worship coach Stephen Thomas. Go look it up on Amazon. Again, if you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and also the little bell so you can get notifications. If you are on Facebook, go over to my worship coach page. It's the worship coach. You'll see it at the worship coach. All right. And on Instagram as well at the worship coach. At the worship coach, go ahead and like those pages and you'll get some great content. All right. So until then, see you later. Peace.